As always, Democrats are fear-mongering and gaslighting over something that Trump is doing or something that he is pushing, and that is the big, beautiful bill. They are now lying, telling the American people that millions and millions and millions of Americans are just going to have Medicaid completely changed, and it's going to just be ruined forever, and then no one's going to have health care, and then the world's going to fall into chaos. That's not what's happening. Okay, we are getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, and the way they are doing it is very targeted, and we're going to debunk things and get right into it. But before we do, my name is Clayton Kearns from TrendingPolitics.com. Please make sure before you continue on with this video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out so much. Nothing builds out a channel quite like subscribers, and we need all the help we can get because there are a ton of liberal channels on YouTube, and their videos get a lot of views, and we need to combat against the fake news narratives that they push. So let's get right into it. And also, before you go, please make sure to like this video. It is very, very important. So first, let's cut away to Caroline Leavitt because she absolutely, I just love watching her speak. I love watching her break things down because it cuts through all the noise and it cuts through all the BS, and it tells you exactly what President Trump's intentions are with this bill and what it is going to do. And most importantly, as I said earlier, it is getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, specifically in taking away the Medicaid benefits for illegal immigrants. Number one. Number two, we are no longer going to be funding transgender surgeries on minors with Medicaid and with government funding. It's not happening anymore. That's what's happening in this bill, and let's watch Caroline Leavitt break it down.
The one big beautiful bill passed the House Budget Committee last night, bringing it one step closer to final passage. The one big beautiful bill is perfectly named because it represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver on the Make America Great Again agenda responsible for President Trump's landslide victory on November 5th. The America First policies in this bill are the reason why Republicans currently have the majority in Congress right now. Passing this bill is what voters sent Republicans to Washington to accomplish. And that's why it's essential that every Republican in the House and the Senate unites behind President Trump and passes this popular and essential legislative package. This bill will be the single most pro-small business, pro-family, and pro-American worker legislation ever. This bill will give Americans the largest tax cuts in our nation's history. When Republicans pass the bill, Americans will be keeping more of their hard-earned money and taking home much bigger paychecks. The one big beautiful bill will deliver some of President Trump's central campaign promises. No tax on tips for our hardworking waiters, waitresses, and service workers. No tax on overtime for our law enforcement officers, our firefighters, and all those Americans who are putting in extra hours to make ends meet. And a large tax deduction on interest payments for Americans who purchase American-made cars. Despite desperate Democrat lies, the biggest beneficiary of this tax cut will be working-class Americans and their families. Americans earning between $30,000 and $80,000 per year will pay about 15% less in taxes after this legislation is passed. And according to a brand new paper from the White House Council of Economic Advisors, the average family with 2 children's take-home pay will be up to $13,000 higher because of the increase in wages and reductions in tax obligations. The CEA study also said that the average overtime worker receives a tax cut of roughly $2,000. Again, this is great news for our nurses, our police officers, and all those who work overtime to make ends meet across our country. Put simply, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill will be a boon for working-class America. This One Big Beautiful Bill is also pro-family. It will increase the child tax credit to $2,500 per child, establish optional savings account for newborn babies with a $1,000 credit added, and strengthen paid family leave. This bill also delivers historic tax relief to America's seniors by allowing middle and low-income Social Security recipients to deduct an additional $4,000 in payments from their taxable income.
So as she said there, the bill is amazing. It does a lot of amazing things. It is one of the most pro-family bills that we've had in a long time. It encourages people to have children and to grow this beautiful country of ours. And this here is what I was referring to earlier, is one of the most important parts, where she specifically gets into the Medicaid argument and what we are really cutting in this bill.
Medicaid will no longer be used to pay for barbaric gender mutilation procedures on minor children. And the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving Medicaid benefits will be kicked off the program to preserve it for hardworking American citizens who need it.
And now we know why the Democrats are fear-mongering so much about this bill. They don't care about the health care for the American people. They don't care about preserving so many of these things. What they care about is the illegal immigrants who are getting a free handout from we the people, the American people. That's what the Democrats care about. They also care about taxpayer funding for transgender surgeries, especially on minors. For some reason, they get a weird kick out of that. I don't know why. It's disgusting. It's just, as she said, barbaric to mutilate these children when they're not even old enough to drive a car or to get a driver's license. This is absolute insanity, and these are the things that we are defunding. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. here did a brilliant job of breaking this down and like fighting back against this unhinged Democrat who, once again, was gaslighting, saying that, oh, well, we're going to just cut Medicaid. And RFK Jr. is like, no, that's not what's happening. The cuts are specifically coming to get rid of the fraud and abuse, and he calls him out and shows him with proof that illegal immigrants are benefiting from this system. So let's check it out.
So do you disagree with the cuts that are being proposed for Medicaid right now?
Oh, the cuts to, this is I don't know if you understand this or whether you're just mouthing, the Democratic talking points. The cuts to Medicaid are for fraud, waste, and abuse. And I'll tell you what that means. It means that because of DOGE, we were able to determine, and it's about 8 million people who would be affected. Because of DOGE, we were able to determine that there are 1 million people who are claiming Medicaid from multiple states. That's illegal. It's theft. You're not allowed to do that. There are another 1 million people who are collecting both under Obamacare and Medicaid.
Secretary, that has nothing to do with the budget that's
These are the
actually
only
being
cuts that are
proposed
being
in the
made.
House.
These are the only cuts that are being made to Medicaid.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. There are another 1 million illegal aliens. We announced a law yesterday, a rule yesterday, we're not going to pay illegal aliens anymore. And guess what Gavin Newsom did this morning? He said we're going to take all the illegal aliens off the California Medicaid rolls because the feds aren't paying for them anymore. So the compassion ends.
Secretary, let me focus you on the actual numbers of the budget that's being proposed.
Secretary,
I regain my time. I think what you are saying is absolutely inaccurate in terms of the 13 million Americans that will lose access to health care. Let me tell you, the folks in my district are not actually getting Medicaid in another state. They can't travel to get it in another state. The clinics that are providing that life-saving care are the last resort for folks.
Let me tell you the last category. Last category is adults who are able-bodied, who refuse to look for a job, to volunteer, to get a job, or to show that they are or to take a part-time job.
I agree with time. That is absolutely not true. The vast majority of folks in a community like mine who are on Medicaid are working. They want to work. People want to be able to make sure that
they're in no danger of losing their Medicaid.
That's just not true. We've seen in time after time, including in Arkansas and Florida and other states, that when you put more red tape, yes, but we've seen this chapter before. When you put more red tape in front of people actually getting that life-saving care, you're going to prevent people from accessing health insurance and being able to go see a doctor.
Medicaid is for poor children. It's for women, for mothers, and it's for the disabled.
It is. And 13 million of those people are going to lose health insurance if this budget becomes law.
They're already losing their health insurance because of all the able-bodied people who are not looking for jobs on Medicaid.
Secretary, I'll just close by
I'm just like always amazed somehow they never. It's incredible how these Democrats can just say things without any evidence, just pure gaslighting, and then just act as if they're not going to get called out on it. and they claim all of these things, saying, hey, 13 million Americans are going to lose their money, with no evidence, no proof, no sources to back it up. This is what the Democrats do. And Breitbart here has a nice little summary on everything, or some of the big things in this bill. President Donald Trump's sweeping tax and spending budget, lovingly dubbed the One Big Beautiful Bill, strips Medicaid's funding for transgender surgeries, a move that will impact a large portion of such procedures if it passes the Senate. Okay? So a 2023 study by gynecologists from Columbia University at the University of Southern California revealed that a staggering 25% of so-called gender-affirming surgeries in the United States are covered by Medicaid. This is insane. Out of the 48,019 patients identified in the report who underwent such surgeries, over 12,000 were Medicaid recipients. And this is what we're fighting against. We are fighting against waste, fraud, and abuse. We the people do not want to be paying for these surgeries. We the people do not want to be paying for illegal immigrants to get benefits. This is the United States of America. If the American people want to be benevolent and give their money to illegal immigrants, there are tons of charities, there are tons of donation who helps people from all across the world, and they can help them out in those ways. But we are not going to be spending our taxpayer dollars and not going to be draining from the system money into people that aren't even part of our country. So if you agree with these things, and if you agree with RFK Jr., Trump, and Caroline Leavitt, please let me know in the comments below. And I will see you in the next video.